Hi everyone, this is Lori here with Lori Hooks. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with me today. So today is just a quick video to show you what I've been working on for the last week, talk about what's going on with life and whatever. So I'm going to start with my finished object, but I think it's probably my whip that you guys would be more interested in, but I always do it in the order of finished objects first and then whips afterwards. So yeah, so let's get started. So let's start with the finished objects, as I said. So I finished 2 dishcloths. So this is the first one. This is usually referred to as the simple dishcloth or a basic dishcloth. I can link a tutorial below. I just used the tutorial for the count for the starting cast on because I couldn't remember how many. So I just made this simple dishcloth for a friend. And this one is made with, what did I do with the yarn ball? Sorry, I've got everything piled around me, as always. This is Lily Sugar and Cream in the color Over the Rainbow. So, and I used I think I used a 5.5 needle for these. I'm pretty sure. So, and I also did this one, which is just a basket weave pattern of knits and pearls. And I can link the pattern that I used in the description box below. I did more rows than what it called for. I cast it on the amount that it had, but I did more rows because, as you can see, my dishcloth is still rectangular. If I had done the number of rows that she's had, it would have been really rectangular, which I don't know why, but it seems weird to have a rectangular dishcloth. This is a little wider than what I usually do. It's a little bit bigger than I would normally make for a dishcloth. I prefer them a little bit smaller, but that's just my preference. We all like different things. And these are for a friend, and I'm not really sure which way she likes her dishcloths. So I hope that she enjoys them. I do prefer a knitted dishcloth over a crochet dishcloth. I just like the weight of the dishcloth better. The knit comes out a little thinner feeling, even when you use like you know, double crochets and a larger hook. It just seems to come out as a thicker fabric. It uses more yarn, so I do prefer a knit dishcloth personally. So those dishcloths I finished, and then on to the other thing I've been working on is the Passionate Crafter is doing a gnome along for 2023. I did the January gnome, which was the snowflake gnome. I skipped the February Valentine's Day gnomes because I already have a Valentine's Day gnome, but I decided that I wanted to do the March gnome. And so first of all, I'll insert here the picture of the gnomes that she has the patterns for. So there's the man gnome, the female gnome, and then she's got the pot of gold and then the shamrock. And those patterns are all free on her blog. I will link the homepage for her blog below. If you go to the homepage right now, I think there's links for the male, the female, and the shamrock on the homepage. And I think the pot of gold was in with the pattern for the male gnome. So because I don't have a St. Patrick's Day gnome, I decided to make one of these. So I started with the male gnome, and this is where I got so far. So I have his body done, his arms done, his beard done, and his nose. So far, the only changes I've made to the pattern is I added an extra round of increases to the nose. What have I done to his beard? I added an extra round of increases to his nose to make it a little bit bigger because I like a bigger nose. And I have these sewn on, but I haven't done the final tie off on the yarns until I'm sure that I'm happy with their placement and everything. So when I did do the beard that she had in the pattern, I think the beard is really fun, even though I've messed it up kind of right now. Fix it a little bit more here. That's a little better. So I think the beard is really fun and different. So I did use the beard pattern that she has in her pattern. I think her patterns are well written. She does have an error on one of them, but I think it was fixed later on. I'm pretty sure it was to do with the back loop only rows. So if you're making this and it seems like the back loop only row line didn't make sense, then that's where the error was. But I think it's pretty obvious that that's, you know, a typo on her pattern. So, but I finished the body, his nose, his beard, his arms. Oh, and I did do a row of simple stitch around the bottom, which she does not call for, but I did do it because I like it. And I have this much of the hat done so far. Now this hat pattern is from the female gnome, because in the female version, the belt, this black section here, is built into the hat, whereas in the male one, she has you make the hat all green and then add the belt afterwards, which I thought it would be simpler and faster just to put the belt in there and then add his buckle afterwards. So I have the hat done this far. I need to add the buckle and do the brim, obviously. So I'm not sure if I have enough. The hat is big enough. We'll see whether or not it is. At this point, like if I try it on, it sits on top, and in her patterns, the hat doesn't always go over the nose. I do prefer my hat to go over the nose, but we'll see once the brim's on and how the brim sits over the nose, whether or not I like that. So that's part of the reason why I haven't finished sewing these on and tying them off, because I want to make sure that it's all the way that I like it before I'm finished assembly. So, oh, and the yarn for this that I've been using, I'll just show you. The green is Sheepy's Katona. I do have all the colors here. So this dark green I'm using is color number 515, which I know is emerald. And the other colors, I have them all in this bag. So the skin color for the nose and the hands was 255, which is shell. This orange that I'm using is color number 189. I don't have the color name written down. This lighter green is color number 513. And the yellow that I'm going to use for the buckle is color number 208. And I think this one is called Golden Yellow. My next video, I'll confirm the names and have them on there, because I did not write this into my little book. I have been doing so well on keeping track of all the patterns, the projects that I've been working on in my little book, and I dropped off sometime between the simple dishcloth and the Basketweave dishcloth. And I started this gnome after I finished the Basketweave dishcloth, so I need to catch up. I'm a few days behind in my little book. I've been really good at keeping up on it so far, and somehow here we are in March, and it's like March hit and I just fell apart. So I need to get my act together and write my stuff down in my book, because I was doing really well and I liked keeping track of everything. So that's what I've been working on. I also have been working on my wreath for the Hooked on Wreaths collaboration that I've been doing with Rebecca over at Yarn and Pajamas. I'm not going to show that today because I show that in the video specifically for that, and I will link the playlist for that below. Excuse me. So that's what I've been working on. Life-wise, things have been busy, had a lot to do for work. I've had some paperwork to catch up on, so usually I can get a good chunk of crochet time in on the weekends, but last weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, I put in 3 or 4 hours down in my office working on paperwork, which really cut into my crochet time. Also my house cleaning time. My house is behind. It's a little bit of a mess, so that's going to be the next thing to catch up once I get my paperwork caught up for work. So it's always something to do, which is good. It's good to be busy. It's good to have things to do. That's always a good thing. Now, I wish I had more time for crochet, of course, but I do like to feel like there's some real obligations to do, as well as just flake around crochet time, which I love as well. I really enjoy I spend at least I would say an hour every day crocheting at minimum. It's very, very, very rare that I don't spend at least an hour every day crocheting. So anyways, I think that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking my videos. The liking really helps out. and I will see you next time on Lori Hooks. Bye everyone.